Okay, I am going to call the meeting to order. All rise for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome everyone. It looks like the weather is going to stay calm, which provides me with some relief after the meeting we had early in the spring. The first item on the agenda is appointment of Dave Alexander to the Long Grove Architectural Commission. I don't believe Dave is here tonight. I met with Dave a few weeks ago, and he's relatively new to the village, wants to get involved, and but he has a skill set that we're looking for. His background is in construction. He can read blueprints and is familiar with architecture. He was interviewed by Gene Sylvester. Thumbs up with Gene. And so I'm asking for your support to appoint him to the Architectural Commission.
Does he live in Long Grove?
Yes, he does.
Because I'm always curious when you think I'm a terrorist or what, that I don't have an address, I don't have a phone number, I don't have an email address, and yet I'm supposed to.
Oh.
Yay for this guy.
Oh, so I don't know, how did it get redacted to you all, right? So.
There's no, it's totally blacked out.
Yeah, it should have, this.
I know where he lives. He lives on my.
It's on your street, okay. All right, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know why, so that's a good question. It should not be redacted to the board. Anyways.
Yeah.
So,
It's a beautiful town.
yeah.
So we need to approve that appointment?
Would you make a motion, please?
I do.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by trustee Borowski, seconded by trustee O'Reilly. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, no nays, motion carried. All right. Homeowners associations. Burr Oaks, are you here online anywhere? Marion, Motto, James, I see Marianne on the line. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have anything for us tonight?
I don't. I don't know that we've ever sent anyone to represent our HOA to one of these before, so I'm kind of just here to see how it goes.
Oh, okay. You know, as an HOA leader, this would be an opportunity for you to come before the board and bring forth concerns, ideas, items that you want the Board of Trustees to hear about. So,
Okay.
you know, if there's anything you want to share, please do, or, you know, at the next meeting, or if you want to attend another one, and if you have something to bring forward, you're more than welcome.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing what you do. And then, Stonehaven, is, John Lowndes, are you here anywhere online, somewhere? If not, let's move right away to public comment. Any public comment? I'm looking at you, Helen, or Benjamin.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just have three questions. The first two is directed to the village manager, Sparkman. First and foremost, have you made my name is Benjamin Matthew, and I'm from Board 86 Oak Leaf Lane in Long Grove, and I'm from the Oak Leaf Homeowners Association. My first question to village manager Sparkman is, have you made a meeting with the owners for 4359 on 2822? And secondly, are there any updates about that? Third question might be more direct to Assistant Manager McCarthy. Has there been any progress with Illinois with regards to Illinois 22 and filling in the shoulders or repairing the gravel shoulders that have collapsed? Thank you.
Yeah, we did meet with the applicant for that property, and it was very high level to just explain the process and the deficiencies in their original application. So we informed them what they need to do to apply to change with their application and resubmit if they so choose. So that was the extent of the conversation.
As far as Illinois 22, it's on, I mean, they just continue to say that it's on the list, you know, but it's the state, you know, and if they continue to say that. Jeff, do you have any more info than that? tomorrow, and they're gonna say the same thing, unfortunately.
So,
but
they
that's the
don't,
one-
they don't care about the safety issue of people on that road?
I mean, I believe they care, but there's multiple roads like that people are calling and continue doing that. So we can continue to do that, and the one thing I would recommend to anybody is continue to do that. And for residents in that situation, I would say the best thing is to, reach out to state representatives and county board members and write emails to them, and the more that have pressure about an issue like that, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So the more they hear about it from people in positions of power, the more likely it is to get that extra attention, is what I would say.
Yeah, point well taken.
Let me know if there's something you want me to author. I'll be glad to write it and I'll send it. All right. Any other comments?
Can I
yep.
mention now?
Yeah, please.
My name is Steve Bullrich. I live in, Illinois State.
Uh-huh.
5 years ago, the lot next to me, they sold it.
Mm-hmm.
New owner came in, put a fence all the way around, put a goats in, 20 goats. I complained to president from association, didn't do nothing. They kept the goats there for 2 years. Last year was nothing there, just a fence around. This year, they came with the 6 big, huge horses. Horses, they smell now, the flies, and I talked to president from the association, he told me to come here tonight and tell you guys what I should do, what's my option. I thought we're not even supposed to have a fence, not the horses.
Yeah, so can we get, can I sync
Thank
you up? Thank you for bringing that forward. Can we make sure we have you can get it offline, phone number, email, everything, so we can follow up and get the exact address of the property? Maybe, would you mind passing a piece of paper out so we can do that and document it? Would you mind doing that, writing it down, and we'll follow up?
Yeah.
Somebody from village staff will follow up with you.
I'll get back to you.
Let you know your options. So, thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Can I ask you a question?
It may not be in the subdivision so much outside, I don't know.
Well, okay, so, he said go, right?
He did.
We were looking for go.
Yes, we were.
So, maybe we can turn on London. We were looking for goats, if you recall.
I do, to eat the teasel, yes.
While this may not be appropriate at all, the use of the property, they've got goats. Maybe we could make a deal.
It's the fencing that's the issue.
Yes, I get it.
Is it
Although,
On another level,
there are places in Iowa where they're not exactly invisible fences like we have, but it's close. And they put, these are beef cattle. They put collars on them and then they're contained just like our dogs.
So, the fencing thing is interesting, because I thought that was more HOA driven than it was village driven. Because technically our conservancy wording actually encourages, or doesn't encourage, but it allows rustic fences in conservancy area, technically. So it really depends on what the HOA's got to say.
But we don't know where the property is,
Right.
we gotta go look at it and find out, so.
And I think we're also allowing horses on properties based on the acreage too, so I don't think 6, but
But you have to have housing for them too.
I don't know if you do.
We'd have to look at the, our covenants, our village code, but I mean, again, let's get the property, let's have it investigated, we're not gonna debate it tonight, so. Correct, yeah, but we don't, I mean, it's sounding like it's beyond the HOA, that's what we're gonna find out, so.
could you ask about the goats too, Chris?
Oh my gosh,
It's a hook down.
I'm gonna keep us moving, so, Ellen.
Okay, 2 issues. One, as a citizen, I'm still not happy with the lack of information that's shared about what is being done at these meetings. I understand that maybe 2 months later, we might get the minutes online, and I've looked at those. When I don't attend in person, I do go to YouTube and watch it, but there's been a complete lack of communication as to who's going to be before this board and what's going to happen. That's issue one. Issue two is, as a member of the PCCBA, people used to be able to contact us because there was some information on the website about us. I don't know why everything has been cleaned off. The only thing that's on there now is our name. I've never been threatened, I've never been approached, I've never had any problem. People would contact me with issues and concerns related to the job that I was doing. When I was asked for personal information, I sent a note back that said, okay, if you've decided you're not gonna put this, then give us emails like the trustees have, so that if people want to contact us, they can. Nothing, I never heard back from that, the information was just taken, but it just seems that we're being walled off from any of the other.
Yeah,
and everything.
Helen, I'll respond to that, and I think it was before Chris, because I think it was what happened was people were taking advantage of those email addresses, and there were some craziness going on as far as phishing, and it was out of control. And so we had several of the commissioners complain about that, and a decision was made, I believe, by Art at the time to take down the name. So we can revisit. I mean, I guess if you want your email up there and others do, we can ask that it be put up, but it was done because of that.
We can work with IT on finding a way, a safe contact way for them to get, for residents to contact them. We can figure that out.
So in other words, they may submit a button and to send you a message or whatever, so you don't disclose your email, so.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I just think there should be some way
Sure.
for citizenry to
But
be in communication.
But you don't have to come before the board to do that. You can come, or you can write me, or you can write the village manager.
Okay, I communicated to the,
No, for that particular issue, that one you could have come to me on, and I would have been able to answer it, but that's okay, no worries.
But, you
No
know,
one
we
communicated.
have this air of secrecy,
Chris Sparks is
of,
our village manager.
and that's why I use the term terrorist. I mean, are you afraid of me, that I shouldn't know this? And so it's funny that we're kind of talking of the same thing, of an open communication with people who are active. If you want to be active and you don't want any contact from anybody, then you're in the wrong place.
Yep, yeah, no, so there's no disagreement for me, but it was done, there was precaution because of some of the commissioners were getting hit with phishing. It was pretty bad there for a while, so. Apparently a lot of people.
I was never communicated,
Okay, all right, so,
never knew that.
yeah, lots of staff changes.
Email out to everyone.
And, but apparently I asked for a lot of credit cards from people that I'm not able to get them, and there's other things that you need to do for me. So it's crazy, the stuff that was going on there for a while.
You know, we did have, like, internally, we had our address list in the past that we circulated between, all the commissioners.
Yeah.
Kind of a private thing. I don't know if that helps a little bit or not.
I think we tried to do that with the HOA president too. If you don't want your name out there, that's fine, but if I want mine, here it
Yeah,
is.
that list is there, the people that want to be on it, so. All right, Helen, thank you for that. Yep. Benjamin?
Oh, I just have one more, question about the PCCBA, has there been a decision about putting up bigger signs to inform residents when there is gonna be a zoning issue as opposed to the little baby ones that currently,
Yeah, we have newer signs out there that are bigger, so you'll see them in front of Brothers Field now, and also, for the Deer Trail, property, I'm forgetting the street.
That's
big
on
is it?
Old Hicks.
Old Hicks, yes.
How big is the sign now?
They're 5 feet by 2 feet.
And they're bright colored, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
It was a very good compromise.
Yeah.
Plus, we're talking about bigger signs for larger properties.
Yeah, and they got a QR code on there that you can use your phone it'll take you right on the village with the public notice on it.
It probably doesn't work.
Anything else for public comment online?
Yep.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, good evening again. So I'm actually calling on behalf of Lake Illinois Estates, echoing Steve's comments about the horses back on the previously undeveloped parcel. I had been under the impression that the horses weren't yet on site, but he did inform me tonight that they are actually out there. So the concern that we have, that the fence is certainly the smaller issue, but the fact that the parcel itself is only 1.5 acres, where I know that the village code requires at least 2. And so there's obviously going to be the other concerns about actually living on the lot, the setback requirements, having the required stalls, plus just the number of horses period on the site. I know that you'd mentioned that it could get pushed back to the HOA to try to enforce. But looking through the village code, it seems like there's quite a few instances where it would be in conflict with what's already on the books with the village versus just the fence requirement that we have here.
Yep, and again, we don't have any facts. It's the first we heard about it,
Nope,
so that's
understood.
why we have to investigate it, you know.
Of course.
Yep, so I appreciate that comment. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Right. Thank you.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. All right, moving to the consent agenda, because there's no public safety personnel here, so we're going to move right to the consent agenda. There's 3 items on it: approval of the June 2024 Treasurers Report, approval of regular board minutes from the July 9th meeting, subject to non-substantive revisions, approval of an application for a license to conduct a raffle, the Daniel Murphy Scholarship Fund waiving the $25 license fee at Buffalo Creek on August 2nd and 3rd.
Can I ask Vic a quick question? Because I missed July 9th meeting, do I need to take this off of consent?
No,
Or can I just?
Any member can vote on the minutes, whether they're present or not at the meeting in question. You're simply identifying them that you approve them as being the official record, not that you're specifically endorsing what's in there.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone want to? Okay, moved by Trustee O'Reilly. Seconded by Trustee O'Connor. Roll call, please.
Trustee O'Reilly?
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor?
Aye.
Trustee Borowski? Aye. Trustee Jamil?
Aye.
Trustee Tanucci?
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a presentation by Joe Lucania, right? Lucania, for Deadly Design and Development on a single-family home development near the northeast quadrant of Aptekissick Road in Illinois, Route 83. It's right near Briarcrest. So, Joe, you have a presentation that you want to share with us. I actually have it on my laptop. Is there anything that the village staff wants to do to set this up, or should I share my screen?
Go ahead and share, yeah. We preliminary met with Joe, and he gave us his pitch for the site, and we thought it would be a good step to come before the board for a preliminary presentation to you guys to decide whether or not you think it should be referred to the PCZBA for further consideration.
See if I can hide this right now. There's a new format of this Zoom thing. Is there a way to hide this anymore? Or can you see it enough? Can you all see it enough? Is that good enough? All right, the floor is yours, Joe.
Thank you. Do you want a clicker or?
I'll just control it from here,
Okay,
so if
all right.
you're okay. Just tell me when to move and.
All right, hello, I'm Joe Lucania. There is a microphone right here, you can bring it close to you. Oh, that's fine, thank you.
Going, okay.
That's just the agenda of the topics I'm gonna cover. Okay, so that's just a little about me and my business. I've been in the real estate development business since I was a child. I've worked for several large corporations, so I started my own. I sold my business in 2010 and retired, and then realized retirement's not for me. I'm too young. So here I am back in the industry. I
I think this is a great opportunity for me as well as Long Grove. So the property is currently Valley Bunyan driving range. Basically, we want to leave the property intact. We're not trying to touch wetlands. We're not trying to change anything. We're just trying to turn it from, you know, an ugly-ish site to a luxury single-family subdivision. We are going to put in large berms and a lot of landscaping to cut down on noise as well as privacy for the subdivision. And then keeping with Long Grove, you know, we're going after the luxury homeowner, high wealth, income family. Basically, I just put some slides together to show you rough renderings of what the homes will look like, as well as what vendors are already involved. We're targeting roughly $1.5 million to $2 million price point based on the size of the homes being somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 square feet. So that is kind of an idea of what they'll look like that we're proposing based on village approval. The next slide, just some floor plan ideas. There's one more of those. And you guys can have this to go through in your, you know, at your leisure. These are some of the vendors that are already involved and excited about working on the project that we've already put together. So basically, as talking to Chris, we're asking for 31 plus home sites, making it roughly an acre per home site. Again, keeping everything the same. We would approve it as either a simple subdivision with some variances or a PUD, whatever the village would want. And then in 2018, there was a developer that actually proposed a project there that I was told the village liked the layout of it, that's it. So what we're proposing is something similar to that shape, that layout of homes. We have full prints of this, but once we have approval to move forward, our engineers will actually redesign it exactly the way you want it. Again, keeping wetlands and everything the same. We are also open, if the village would consider it, the back part of the property would be perfect for, you know, some luxury row homes. But again, I'm perfectly fine building single family, but there is an opportunity to increase density a little if it was an option. And then basically to cover it, the benefits, single family, walking distance to the downtown area, as well as Sunset Market. I know the village has got a grant for water, so this would tie right in the new fire station, and the village would have instantly 31 new customers for city water. And that is kind of pretty much it. The rest of the slides are kind of just, you know, we're a turnkey operation. You know, we cover everything. So we're just looking to build, you know, a luxury single-family subdivision.
Thank you for that. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I have a couple. The packet wasn't super clear to me. I mean, I looked at the PDF and PowerPoint, but how many acres is there in this property right now?
A little over 30.
And how much is, like, wetland that you're aware of so far?
About 2. Yeah. Yeah, because most of it ties into the land that Long Grove actually owns. That's all wetland behind it. So there's one small pond all the way to the north. There's one small pond that's actually Briarcrest Pond 5. I think that's what it's labeled on the zoning map. And then there's a little part of wetlands where the L is on the north side of the long section of the property.
Okay, thank you. No, no more questions right now. I'm good. Let me ponder for a moment.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
You mentioned this is the Valley Bunyan property. Does any of it extend over to where the greenhouses used to be?
Yes, it's that entire L.
The whole area?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it'd be an L-shaped subdivision, and then the the new fire station that's being built would be at the very east end of it. So yeah, that L shape is actually the shape of the property. And that's the couple homes that are in Briarcrest that actually would be, for the most part, like 3 homes would be facing or be involved in anything.
What's the actual zoning now, Bill, do we know?
Yeah, we do. It's, R3 and R2.
So it's R3, which is.
It's, yeah, which is,
1 acre and then.
no, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. It's R1 and R2. There we go.
R1 or 3 acre?
It's R1 and R2, so it's 3 and 2 acre.
Right,
So given that-
so we would request R1.
Yeah.
R3, I'm sorry.
R3, yeah.
Okay, could you say that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is, the zoning right now is R1 and R2. R1 is 3 acre, R2 is 2 acre. What he would like it to be is R3, which is 1 acre. I know, it's confusing as hell.
Okay,
It's
so,
backwards of one.
Yeah.
if it's 31 acres, take away 2, you got 29, you got roads and sidewalks and so forth. So what is an actual lot size anticipated?
Well, since you measure from the entire lot to the center of the street, so they literally, with, a couple of them would be a little larger than an acre, and there would be a couple that would be maybe 0.95, but they're all based on the way zoning works, and you get almost like a rebate.
I've
Yeah,
met
yeah, I know,
that
yeah.
time.
Yeah, so you get a rebate for like wetland, it would be roughly an acre each. They would be almost there.
A rebate for,
You get some land back for wetlands.
okay, my biggest question
Okay.
is the logic of putting $1.5 million or $2 million house at the 2 busiest roads in Long Grove.
There is, we've talked to like 5 or 6 different brokerage companies. There is absolutely no inventory in the North Shore. Like, we would make it so that you would not hear the streets. There's already enough.
Parrish has thought, I never heard such a thing. You're gonna build so that nobody can hear anything? You can't hear that siren going
No,
off?
you're gonna hear things, but there's landscaping, there's berms, there's stuff to cut down on noise.
Okay.
And I'm not worried about selling them.
Okay, if you're not worried about selling them, first of all, will you build the houses or will you sell the lot?
No, we will build the house. It will be a complete turnkey subdivision.
Okay, if in a reasonable period of time, you've got 15 spaces left, 15 lots left, then what?
We would build spec and sell them as we build them. I mean, if it came to a wholesale situation where we would have to sell off lots, I would cross that bridge when I come to it.
Well,
but-
see, I'm worried about our bridge.
Okay.
Because we're gonna deal with 2 subdivisions. How many years is it? And they've never been built. And so they're.
Okay, well, I mean, in my defense, I've spent my entire life in the luxury, commercial, and residential world. I've done this, and I'm not, like, this is what I do, this is what I know how to do. So I'm not worried at all. I mean.
Then I'm not worried.
I'm not, and there's no,
No,
and it's private, and not that it is a concern or not, but it's private money. So it's not like we have a
Yeah,
bank
but
to
it's
answer
our
to.
village.
Oh, right, I understand that. But it's also not disrupting anything. There's literally 3 or 4 homes that are affected by any construction, that visibility-wise. And then Briarcrest wouldn't be used at all for construction, for roads or anything. So it wouldn't be like no traffic would be through their subdivision.
Okay.
I have a couple questions. The business that you sold in 2018,
2010,
2010, I'm sorry,
no problem.
you know, what kind of business?
Real estate development. So we had a luxury residential division, we built homes all over the country, and then my biggest client was MGM. So if you've been to Las Vegas City Center, I built that. So that's who bought my business.
And that's what I'm interested in, is what have you built anything in the Chicago area that we could?
Yeah, I built luxury homes all over Chicago.
Could
I mean, if
we,
you wanted a resume, yeah, no problem at all.
I would be interested in some addresses.
Sure. Most of my clients I have like private, like NDAs with, but I'd be happy to share what the homes are and where they are. And some of my clients would be open to speaking. Yeah, my office was in Highland Park for 10 years, so. And it wasn't Bentley Design. That's new.
Well, what's the name?
My old business was a lead development company.
I Googled you and went on LinkedIn, aside from your college, experience.
I went to Marquette.
I don't know how much you know. I hope you know that we're not a subdivision community. Every home is custom.
Yes.
That siding is not preferred.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I've read the monotony clause. So I mean, and some of the slides that I breezed through, and I figured just in question and answers, every home would be different. We're looking for that, that country type manor estate, that's kind of the theme. But as far as building materials, I'm not here to argue or fight. Like, that's not me. I've never been like that. So if you tell me, hey, we want some brick and stone and, like the roofing, like that was a slide, that's not really a point that needs to be brought up today, but, it's next to impossible to get insurance on a cedar roof anymore. So all of these homes would feature synthetic, like state-of-the-art cedar or slate, so they would look like that Long Grove Manor look, but they would be maintenance-free.
Slate?
Real or synthetic.
Okay, and that's interesting that you say that, because I'm not sure if what I see on roofs as I drive the Northwest Bird,
Mm-hmm.
it looks like a little bit like metal roofs.
That's becoming very common too. Metal roofs that don't look like metal.
Exactly,
Right.
but they fade, apparently.
They do, and also they're obnoxiously loud when it rains.
Yeah.
Like a tin can.
Even louder when there's hail.
Right, yeah. So no, the synthetic, the name of the company is Brava Roofing. You would never know it's not cedar, but it's actually a 50-year warranty. It's a 50-year roof.
Really?
Yeah, and it's insured by anybody, where, like, good luck getting insurance on a cedar roof if you buy a new house. It's pretty hard now.
And the synthetic, you said synthetic, slate.
Yes.
What does that look
It
like?
looks exactly like slate, but it's made out of a polymer instead of actually slate.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's much lighter. So, it makes the home construction a little easier because you don't have to spend, an extra $20,000 reinforcing the roof to hold all that weight.
Okay, my next question, or whatever, is, would there be a developer, donation to the village insofar as, a bridge across Hepatitis, joking.
Yes, we are open to we're open to discussion to make.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, we're open to discussion to make the village happy. I mean, I'm too old for, argument and, I don't know what the right word is, but conflict, so I would rather just us work together and come to a happy medium. Same thing goes with like an HOA. I'll be happy to sit down with the village and the village attorney and write an HOA that you guys like, to approve and pass on to the subdivision. I'm all for that.
I'm thinking of something recreational for, hopefully, the children who live in.
Like within the subdivision or somewhere else?
Well, we'll take, yes and yes.
Okay, there's not, I mean, we agreed, and Chris and I talked about this, to put in a huge walking trail from Briarcrest and the synagogue all the way to Sunset Foods. So that would be part of it automatically.
And see, that's where we need a bridge,
Okay,
so kids and bikes.
but as far as, like a park, I don't think there's enough room to put a park in the subdivision, but if there's land to, donate like park equipment or something, I'm fine with with that.
I'm thinking,
I don't know where,
in all truthfulness and seriousness, I'm thinking of something, within the community.
well, I don't know what it takes to put in a walking bridge. Like, I mean, if it's not insane, then,
It's pretty expensive.
It's
Yeah.
pretty expensive.
Yeah, I know.
yeah. I mean, if you want a donation towards it, we can discuss that on the moment, pay for the whole thing.
But I'm thinking of the quality of life, because we have a lot of, I'll say subdivisions here in
Mhm.
the neighborhood, where children who are still of bike age are trapped. If mom or dad doesn't drive them, they can't get there. Country Club Estates is, I think, probably our largest subdivision in the village. And it's easier because there are so many residences in Country Club Estates for kids to at least have some opportunity to go see Johnny or whoever.
Right.
A lot of them are islands because of the road situation here.
Right. Well, and that's one intriguing part of this land that I like, is that it's literally walking distance to, you know, the grocery store in downtown. Yes, you have to cross, but there is a stoplight.
That's
That's a little problem though.
That is problematic.
Okay.
You know, you wouldn't send your 8 or 9-year-old grandchild across Aptekissick or across 83. You just wouldn't do it.
No, I get that, but if it's in the village's, like, agenda of the future to put in, like, a walking bridge and I can help, I'm all for that.
So, you know, starting about, let me kind of go back to the zoning, so R2, R3, do we know what percentage is which and what the normal density would be given the current zoning? Is that?
Just pull up the zoning map. Do you have it?
Yeah, it's an R1, and I think it's all R1.
No, part of it's R2. But,
Oh, it's R1 and R2.
yeah.
So do we know, like, roughly how many homes that would be if it was sticking to the current zoning?
Yeah, probably like half.
Like half, right?
Yeah.
And it's,
So this isn't like a bonus density, this is, or a density bonus, this is like a big deal, right? This is like a big change compared to the current zone.
yeah, and you put 4,000 or 5,000 square feet on an acre, you kind of cheap a jowl. Not like, Bobby, what's the community north on 83 where the streets are like one? Starts with a P, sounds like. No, north,
Talking about Graceland?
Preserves?
in Long Grove. Oh,
Prairie
Preserves, yeah, preserves.
Oh, yeah,
Preserves.
oh, yeah.
So not Ravenna and not preserves, but similar.
Yeah, yeah, where they have to have special places to put the snow.
Yes, and you can't park on the streets.
Right, yeah.
You know, that's a consideration, I think, if you're talking about 1 acre zoning. With the size of the houses and how suburban that looks versus.
Well, I picked the size of the home based on Long Grove, you know, most subdivisions in Long Grove have 4,000 square foot home, a lot do. So I use that number.
Some do.
But
They're usually on a couple acres.
But I mean, the Briarcrest is 1 acre lots, and I mean, that's what it borders, that's what it butt ups against.
Yes.
So that's the, you know, and it makes sense. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest, I mean, if it's R2, R3, it just doesn't make any sense. You just can't fit cost effectively.
Sure.
It just can't be developed.
Sure.
Well, see, that's the same argument I'm thinking about. If in 5 years you haven't sold 15 lots, then we're gonna come down to, well, I can't for the cost. And so cost is one of those ugly things.
It is, and I will sympathize with that side of it, but in the market of today, there is no property for sale. Like, so.
But you know what? Long Grove is not built on today.
Oh, no, I realize
Built
that.
on decisions that were made 50 years ago.
Right, I respect that, but I also believe that this would sell out.
Everybody says the same.
Yeah, no, I.
So I have a question, can I ask one? So the bigger concern to me would just be the financial backing. So how are you gonna afford this, right? I don't know the financial resources.
I will get you whatever you need to be comfortable, but it's private equity.
Okay,
So it's all private money, and we have the funds.
you have the funds and you have access to a source?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that's the bigger issue is,
Yeah, I'm not.
what happens if you start it and you can't finish it? Then we have a situation where we have a partially developed parcel there, right? And there's no money to
I
finish it.
respect it, I
Yeah.
respect that completely, and yes, so, like, whatever, whether it's we're posting a bond or whatever it is, or if you need just financial statements and proof, the land would be paid for, the infrastructure would be paid for, and there's enough cash to build the first couple homes. And then we would, as we sell them, we would build them.
Got it.
And to answer your question a little bit, the brokerage companies we've talked to, we've interviewed several, every single one of them has told me that whether they get the deal or not, they have the home sold. So, I'm not too worried, and I'm not here, it's not just about making money. I mean, that is part of it, but I also wanna build something that you want, and that'll fit into the village.
Got it. And then one other question too, because it was brought up, there are two subdivisions that were gonna be built together that are being sold. Somebody came in there and said they were gonna develop them, they showed us the plans and they never did. And now the property's, it's been sold and now there's somebody else trying to basically bring back the PUD that was approved a number of years ago. So, are you telling us that you're gonna be the one developing this? and
Absolutely.
This is what you wanna do and
Yeah,
we're not gonna be looking at you 2 or 3 years from now and
no, absolutely
you've
not.
sold it?
Not only
Sell it.
do I give you my word, and I need something to do, because I'm the kind of person that I realize I have to keep busy, but if you want it in writing, even though, I mean, that could be legal or whatever, I get it, I will put it in writing. This is something that I wanna do, and that I'm excited about. And yes, we are a turnkey solution, so from the day we put a shovel in the ground to the last closing, I will be involved. And it may not be deadly design, it might be, Manor Estates development, just because nobody, like, I love my logo, but I don't know if a giant skull on a billboard would be cool for Long Grove. So
Deadly doesn't sound.
no, there's a reason for the name. Our tagline is designed to die for, so, that's kind of where the name came from, but, yes, I'm committed from soup to nuts, absolutely.
Got a kind of a big question, sorry to catch you in the middle of your Diet Coke there, Rick. So we've been talking a lot about conservancy corridor, or scenic corridors and conservancy and all that. How do we decide whether we should have scenic corridor on this particular PUD? Is there any particular way we do that? Because most of the PUDs kind of require that scenic corridor, right? That
Yeah,
100
I
foot
think that
buffer.
we usually have the scenic corridor along the main roadways, not necessarily the internal. And so at least looking at the sketch plan that's included, it's really the rear portion of the lots that are abutting Aptekissick and 83. So establishing the scenic corridor there would probably be an easy enough thing to do. So that's what I would say. I mean, and I'm looking at the aerial from the Lake County GIS system, and it doesn't seem like the tree cover is all that substantial. There are parts of it that are, but I think that we're going to see some lots that will have a more established, if you took that site plan, that would have a more established scenic corridor, and others that would be pretty paltry.
Okay, now, I mean, obviously, scenic corridor needs to be as native as we can make it, right? So-
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for those comments, appreciate that. Yeah, my drawings weren't that dimensioned out very well, so apologize for asking silly questions. The other thing is, you mentioned berms. We've had some challenges with berms lately in the village. One ended up being a little bit taller than we expected it to be, and we ended up having to, let's say, remove it, would be a nice way of putting it. What did you envision along our scenic corridor in terms of berm?
More of like a noise pollution berm, you know, trees.
How would you envision?
I mean, I don't know what the final grading's gonna be yet, so I really can't answer that, but, tall enough where you can hide the road. However, a lot of it with, you know, we could do it with shrubbery, with trees. That's also where we discussed putting the walking path, you know, to connect everything. So, it can't be a mountain, because you don't wanna put a walking path on top of a giant hill. So, you know, it's really just for aesthetic and and keeping the noise down. I mean, I know if a fire truck goes by or a police car, you're gonna hear it. There's no way to prevent that. We're not putting a sound wall, but, you know, enough to try to deviate from at least noise pollution and a little bit of, you know, seeing vehicles.
Okay, so just be aware that pay special attention to berms, and I don't think we're really looking for like walls of berm. Not really our thing. Plus, if that is scenic corridor, it's gotta be planted with native species, which may or may not do well on a berm. So you may wanna think about that. And, just one comment, maybe another question. So if we agree to move forward, the duties in place, and if you unfortunately have a medical issue and can no longer continue, what kind of organization do you have behind you to complete this transaction to make sure these homes are built?
My partner, Mikey, would take over and make sure it's completed.
So, okay, so it's a bigger organization than just...
Yeah, it's not just me,
I appreciate
not for something this large, so.
You know, I live, a subdivision away that used to be a golf course away from 83. And, if you think you're not gonna hear 83.
I realize that. My goal was just kind of to, like, just tone it down a little bit if we can.
You were just,
It's not possible, trust me. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know, we hear 83 pretty much throughout the village.
Well, currently, we live at, like, by Hunt Club Farms in Gurnee, and, you know, you think Great America's far away, but, like, one firecracker goes off and you hear it like that.
I know exactly.
Noise carries, I get it, you know. And something I didn't even bring up, but I might potentially live here, too. I might take one of the lots for myself.
All right, so I guess, Bill, I don't really have, like, a lot of comments. I think, I'll shut up.
Well, I think that, so, you know, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Just a couple more thoughts, sorry.
Yeah, you said you didn't have any.
I don't, but I think $1.5 to $2 million is very optimistic in terms of the Long Grove market, because along with that, it's probably gonna be about a $40,000 to $50,000 tax bill, which is just, to me, stunning. Maybe the realtors in the group can make some more comments as to whether or not you guys think that's realistic or not. It really troubles me a little bit.
I get, you know, and I'll interject this on that note. You know, that is our target at the moment. It may vary a little bit, but that's what we've looked at, that's what we've been told. I looked at a subdivision in Lincolnshire, which I don't think is nearly as nice as this project in Long Grove. It was 14 homes, they were $2 to $3 million. Not even close to the amenities or anything that we would give you, and it's sold within under a year. So the money and market's there, you just have to do it right. So I'm not, you know, I'm being a little optimistic, I'll get that, but I've also been doing this long enough to know how to sell things and what sells. So you'll get, you know, we have the buying power to give you a lot for what you're getting, so we will outsell anybody for the same product.
Okay, that's fair. Really, I'll get around to shutting up for now.
That's fine.
So we don't have any police department here in Long Grove, we contract with the sheriff. So I think in your document, there was something about like bringing this to Long Grove or something like that. We just don't want residents for the sake of having residents, because we don't have the dollars to support the resources to take care of the residents. So the density bonus that you're requesting compared to the current zoning has got to have a real good advantage for Long Grove. Because right now, I mean, we love people, don't get me wrong, we love neighbors, love having great neighbors, but We just don't pile people into Long Grove for the sake of piling people into Long Grove because we get no tax revenue.
I get it. And you're bringing residents to the village, to shop here, and obviously, hopefully, retail and entertainment money would be, that they normally wouldn't spend. But also, Chris and I talked about the water. Yeah, that would be instant revenue for you.
For you, yes and no. 30 homes on our water system is nice, but unless the rest of the village has access to Lake Michigan water, we've got 8,000 residents out there who are, well, so hey, how about us?
Right. Well, our job would be to bring it, to the location, dead-ended at locations that you want, and then for the rest of your residents to
Can you write
tap
down
into.
Stockbridge Farms?
Oh, no. We're gonna go.
I can force everybody that's moving into our subdivision to use water. I can't force everybody in Briarcrest, but we will end the water main where it's right there for them.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm done. I really am. I'll be quiet. Thank you. Thank you.
So if I could add part of, it's an argument that I would have about the lot sizes, and that is that most people, and I think Rita will agree with me, most people don't want 2 acres. They don't want 3 acres. They want an acre that's nicely pruned, doesn't have wild things on it.
I understand, yeah.
And so it's a different resident than was living here 20 years ago.
Fully agree with that, so understand.
And I understand you don't want a subdivision that's half-acre lots or quarter-acre lots either. Even though, that would be amazing, I'm not here to, I would be open to that conversation, but I'm not here to sell that. But it is true, the small, people want, maintenance, I don't wanna say maintenance-free, but but we have another piece of property that we're looking at doing, and that's exactly what they want, almost like a Del Webb type community.
So I haven't heard from trustee Jamil or trustee Tanucci. Do you guys have any comments?
What's the time frame you are looking for these 30 houses?
If we start I'm not gonna say today, but if we start the process now, we're probably looking at several months of, engineering, zoning, getting it all approved. Once that's done, we can immediately start infrastructure. I would love to be putting roads in and doing some infrastructure before the end of the year. And then, we would pre-sell as soon as it's approved and we know what it looks like, and then move from there. My realistic time frame, if all goes smoothly based on what I presented, is about 3 years from start to finish. That would be the goal.
Did you happen to research the surrounding houses, property values?
Yes, yeah, so here's what I don't wanna ramble on all night, but here's what I came up with. The average 4,000-ish square foot home in Long Grove is about $900 to $1 million right now. That was built in the 90s. So if you factor that cost, somebody buying it that would bring it up to current standards and rehab it, you're looking at about $500,000 in rehab. So that's $1.5 million. So that's where the target number came from. $1.5 million is a base price for a 4,000 square foot brand new home. So that's where the numbers came from. So yes, we did comps based on, Briarcrest, the country club.
Country Club.
Yeah, just to see what target numbers are.
Ken?
I had a few questions, but they were all answered during the discussion.
So the ingress and egress is primarily 83?
Correct, yeah, with the main, not the driveway closest to Apokistic, but the main one would stay. And then the goal would be to put one on Apokistic, if the county allows us. And depending on the village, if you require 2. If you do, and we can't put it there, then the only alternative would be like a private gate off the Briarcrest Street, because it would back to that. But the initial goal would be 83 for sure, And then if we need a secondary, it would be on Apokistic.
So only northbound traffic can make a right turn, or you're gonna need a curb cut or a left turn for southbound on 83 going into the subdivision?
It's already cut.
It's already done, yeah, so we don't have to change anything.
Valley Bunyan has it cut, you can go both ways.
Yes, so on 83, we're good. Yeah, so I mean, I know some villages, some cities require two ways in and out of a subdivision. If you require that for public safety reasons, we either do it on Apokistic or we put a private, gate only on the Briarcrest Street as a last alternative.
And is that okay with Briar?
They would rather not.
Sure.
If it came to the village saying it's a matter of public safety, they don't have a choice, but I'd rather not go down that road. I would, and I know the county just redid Apokistic, so I don't know, like, if they would be eager to let us cut into it or not. Right, but so we might still be a non-issue.
Yeah, I have no argument at all with $1.5 million.
Okay.
Million and a half, brand new construction. I've seen lesser square footage for that kind of money in new construction. Just, my concerns are, and you seem like you're willing enough to work with us, but my concerns are it looking like it's mushed in instead of elbow room and.
No, and if you read I put it in the slide, and again, I told Chris I would breeze over some of it, but what was presented in 2018 is just a similar shape to what we're talking about. The lots we would narrow them a little bit, widen them a little bit, so it would be more, you could fit a wider home and a little more spacious. My engineers have looked at the property, it still works.
How would you narrow it and widen it?
Well, you're just changing the shape. It's still the same acreage. You're just changing the layout a little bit. So the lots become a little bit wider and a little shallower.
Okay.
Yeah, just to maintain the same acreage, but then you have that more open feel because it's a wider lot.
Right.
You're not shoehorning, and I'm also not asking for a variance that the homes be 10 feet apart. Like, that's not my goal either. You got a 4,000 or 5,000 square foot home, you want some space. You don't want to be able to touch your neighbor.
Well, yeah, and they would probably have side-load garages.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because I know one of the village ordinances, only one door can face the street, so we have to factor that into the design.
Just, yes, and then this has nothing to, well, I guess it does. This has nothing to do with your development, but we don't yet know how much these improvements on Arlington Heights Road are going to clear up bottlenecks in the area. And it's theoretically 60 cars a day, probably, if there's 30 homes, 31, 62 cars a day, additional going in and out. And I don't think you can answer the question, because, people go, well, it's only 60 people, or it's only.
No, I get that, and that's why there's traffic studies too, I know that,
Well,
you pay for that.
Yeah, and
Right.
each house is gonna have at least 2 cars, maybe 3 if they're teenagers.
Right.
So, if we keep creating bottlenecks, my concern is somebody's going to, especially with the 22 thing in Arlington Heights Road, we have land that we have had decommissioned for the 53 extension. I don't wanna give anybody the opportunity to say, well, guess what, I guess you guys need more roads. So, you're a small piece of that.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I could also say an argument of like 30 homes, I think a subdivision and a single family environment works way better than a commercial environment, which is the other alternative for the property, and then you could have hundreds of cars a day, so.
They're in and out, they're not rush hour people necessarily.
Well, if it's a restaurant or, a store, you can't, but that's what traffic studies are for.
Correct.
I can't answer that question, but I would think single family would be less traffic than anything.
I understand.
Can I ask a question to Chris or Vic? What are we doing here tonight? What's the what does the board do tonight with this? Well, I don't know, we don't have it to refer, right?
No, there's nothing to do. I think this is just a matter of an initial presentation for feedback. And it will ultimately be up to this gentleman to move forward with an application, and then we will have, especially since this would involve a rezoning, it would come back to the village board for an initial formal vetting, and then that would either be the end of the process, or it would then be referred to the PCZBA for the typical notice hearing and then recommendation to the board for action.
So tonight then, because it's a considerable amount of investment to do this, right, by the developer, I guess you'd be looking for the board to say, hey, would you be interested in doing this? Otherwise, if not, he's wasting his time, right? So I guess
Right, I think that if the, did I mute? I think that if the, I'm trying to, can you hear me?
We can hear you, yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
muted, yeah.
All right. I think that it would be helpful if the board thinks that the 1 acre zoning as contemplated is, a no-go from the board's perspective, to share that view with this gentleman. And if there's the view that there's enough interest to see how it would turn out, then he can move forward at his risk.
Anybody want to respond to that?
I'm not, I'll say, I'm open, I'm not crazy about the 1 acre, especially since this is a 30-acre site.
Okay.
2 acres are wetland. I'm not crazy about it, I wouldn't say absolutely not.
Okay.
Could I get a question in?
Yep.
And that is, for a long time, I've heard stories that Briarcrest has an agreement on this property that limits what can and cannot be, that they have a say in what goes here. Is there any truth to that?
How do you answer that?
Let me offer that. We have previously looked at the title history on these two properties, and we did not find any kind of recorded agreement that would give Briarcrest any kind of control over the ultimate development here.
Okay.
And to chime in, I did meet with Jeff Wilson and, I can't remember the treasurer's name off the top of my head, but, and they actually like the idea, and they would be for.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm talking about legality.
Okay.
And that's not to suggest that we wouldn't care about Briarcrest, but, okay, so there's no legal thing, okay.
So let's go, we're on this side, what do you,
I'm open.
you're open to it, okay. Can I turn it back to you, Bobby?
I have a little possibility,
A little possibility, okay,
not a big one.
not a big one.
I think that the acreage is just it's very overwhelming. And so I need to see more, if I'm going to change my mind, I'm going to have to see more numbers and plans. Because, 31 minus 2, it's not looking real good.
Okay, thank you for that. Kent?
Oh, I'm not crazy about the shape of the lots. They're long and skinny, which means the houses are gonna be relatively close together. I wouldn't live there.
Well, I just said I'm changing that. What I've shown you isn't what we're building. I just put that on there to give you a shape of it, and that's what was presented in 2018. I just told Rita that we were gonna make the lots wider and less deep.
I don't remember this.
So it may have been, you may have been on, it was when I became village president, It was somebody that proposed a development, and it never really got before the board. They were in the application phases, and they met with, it was recommended they meet with Briarcrest. And so I actually stumbled into the meeting trying to go sign some documents, and they were in with the developer. So I know what, you know, and I kind of then signed the documents and left, right? And you may even have been there, Cheeky, in that meeting that day. And that's as far as it got, and then that developer dropped out. So I believe those were the plans, or similar to the plans that were presented back then.
Okay, so I wasn't having a moment.
No,
Yeah, so we were giving,
This was-
we were given a set of engineering drawings from 2018. That was tentatively what was gonna go there.
But we were all
That's where I came
here,
from.
and we didn't
Okay.
say it.
correct, yeah, and I stumbled into the meeting because I went to sign documents. I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's how it happened. Chris?
It's kind of, to me, it's a little bit of a conundrum to answer your question directly, Bill. I think I'm struggling with the requested density bonus, not knowing why we, the village, want to do that. So it's kind of a conundrum, and I don't want to say, let's continue, let's go for it, and then come back and find out it's just piling more houses into a small space and get nothing out of it, but piling more houses into a small space. So why do we, the village, want to do this? Change our zoning and change to this higher density? And I think that's part of a discussion. I don't think we'll say yes or no tonight.
No, but I think the thing is that if you're all dead set against it, then it's not, you know, it doesn't stand a chance, so.
Well, if it was 25 lots, would that be different? Would that, you know what I'm saying, it could be a different situation where the lots are wider, the homes are not gonna be stacked up. Again, this is a drawing that we saw, I got your comment.
No, you're right, yeah, but I just put that in there, so
Right.
it was a concept of shape and what I figured you all had seen before. But I'm not, but I just, it needs to be, like, frankly, it needs to be cost effective for everybody. I understand that. So if there's if you flat out tell me like it's 29 and no more, and that's it, too bad. And I'll deal, I know, but
You know,
but right.
can't do
You
that
know,
tonight.
Right. I went with what it is, you know, what typical rules are. If you give a little, you get a little, and that's where 31 came from. You know, but it's up for discussion. I'm not backing out of the deal for a lot or two. You know, I want to work I want to do what makes sense, but also where, you know, everybody's happy. I actually make some money on the development. That's a, you know, profit is somewhat of a goal too.
Is it possible, I could ask for addresses, is it possible for us to, consider it and table it for a while, or are we?
Well, I think,
Tonight?
we don't, no, I think you're not making a final decision, you're just giving an opinion, would you consider it? So that it gives them something to work with to make the investment to do all the application, the drawings and everything else like that.
And I don't want to do that to them.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a great deal of engineering, so I need to have,
I don't want to
like,
do
the
that.
right.
No one's saying yes, but would you consider it? Go ahead, Vic, you had a comment.
I was going to simply say, you know, under our procedures, we have a multi-step process in part to avoid having somebody break the bank to do everything and then find out that the concept itself doesn't work. We're technically not even at the first step of that process right now. But if this were to be gone, if he were to go through the process, the first step would really be the concept plan for like a PUD. And then that would require some more detailed information regarding actually dimensioned lots. That's not to say that there's no money required to get there, but it's not saying that he has to spend the money to identify every single design and every single landscape concept for each lot. It would be really, these are the lots we're thinking about. This is the house footprint we're thinking about. This is how the homes would look from the street in terms of their separation and the like. And that would be really the first time for the village board to say, yes, we like it. No, we don't like it. You know, we need to tweak this so there's going to be fewer lots so that there's a little more room. I don't know what the outcome would be, but we're certainly not there yet to be having to make any of those kind of calls. I think, again, this is a matter of saying, oh, there's no way that this is going to work for us. Or, yeah, let's see what you want to do. We may have to see before we can make any good, solid decisions, and we may suggest changes. I think that's the level of reaction that the board can give, nothing more.
Well, it's like we're gonna ask him to spend a whole lot of money, and I
No,
don't
he's
want
just to be
Yeah.
clear, he's coming here to say, look, I'm about to spend a lot of money and I'm willing to do that, but I thought I'd check with you beforehand to see if you're going to just retch all over it.
Well, what I was going to say was that we're going to be asking him at some point to spend a lot of money. And I'd like him to ease into it, to provide us a little bit more information, before we say yay or nay.
Well, like Vic was saying, lot sizes, footprints of the building.
Yeah, not all the engineers.
An elevation rendering, yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, no, I don't need.
Trustee Jamil has a comment too.
My question is, with this inflated prices, like how Chris was pointing out earlier, the $2 million, I think it's a little bit exaggerated pricing. So whether the neighbors in that division get affected if they want to sell their property and no buyer is available.
I would say the market is strong right now. Slowing.
Well, yeah, like the luxury house market is still hot, and it will be for the next couple of years. At least it should be, but $2 million is a cap. I mean, that's, unless you want to build like a completely custom home and do whatever you want, that would be like the most expensive house in there. So that is the high end of
So average is like 1.5.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we targeted. I mean, we might be a little bit less, a little bit more. We haven't set anything in stone yet. Once we start pre-sale, then we actually have to determine the official size and price. But I also need to know how many homes are gonna be, so.
All right, so no one said yes. I think there's a varying degree of potential acceptance. I mean, I think if you're gonna proceed, you're gonna probably have to bring something back to us, a little more detail, right? I'm totally open to it, so, I don't,
Yeah, I'm open to it, I'd like to see more info.
Okay, I'm open for it as well.
So, and there's a varying degree of what people would like to see, right? So I don't know if that gives you something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not full engineering, but I have to obviously do some plan.
Yeah, you have to spend some money,
engineering.
yeah.
Okay.
Ellen?
Let's not see that plan again.
Ellen?
Well, again, I apologize. I just put that in there because I wanted you to have a concept of shape and what it was gonna be. That wasn't intended to be, this is what it's gonna look like at all.
Yeah.
Many developers have sort of a drop dead number. If I have to go below this number of houses, I can't build it. And I guess it would be good to know what that is, because I'm reacting to some of the statements about the density. So, what is the number of homes?
I don't really have a solid number yet. I mean, 31 was based on 31 acres. That's basically what it was, so.
You had mentioned Briarcrest, because Briarcrest, the houses may be on 1 acre, but every house has another acre that's set aside. So while the development is 69 homes, there are 70 acres of conservancy, ponds, everything else. So there isn't a squished-in feeling, because you go down the street and you see a lot of greenery.
I understand that, and I mean, the entire backside of all of this is open completely. It's all like conservative, greenland, but, it's an acre lot is, I mean, you guys live here, it's pretty large, I mean, you.
No, it's not, I disagree.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's not.
Perspective.
I'm on 3.5 acres, I'm okay not having to talk to my neighbor every day, even though I love them, you know?
So,
But really, nobody's looking for that anymore.
I get it,
Yeah.
I get it,
So-
I understand.
so again, let's
What
bring,
is the drop dead price for you? I mean, I think that would be a good thing to know, and it would be a way to tell, can I go forward or not? Because there may not be an agreement of going to 31 houses on this, based on what I'm hearing from the trustees.
I don't have a drop dead number today, the closer to 30, the better, but I don't have a financial answer.
so, you know, that's our plan commission chair right there, so she's listening, so meet Helen. If you get to that next step, you'll be working with Helen.
I can figure it out, but I don't know exactly.
But I think we should probably stop it here, because we don't have enough information, so I think you've kind of heard, you think,
Yeah,
play back in your head what you heard from everyone, and then you probably need to come back to us with something that we can, look at and.
more visual, that's actually gonna be what it's gonna be.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And take into consideration some of the thoughts of the trustees here, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are
I guess
any,
Play it back on the village YouTube channel.
yeah, are you open to meet and talk, like, after this, or? Not today, but just.
I don't know that that's a good, process.
Okay, no, I'm just gonna pick your,
Yeah.
Chris.
If I
Yeah.
might jump in, my suggestion would be that if you do want to move forward, the best approach is to work with staff. And they can bring in occasionally, maybe the plan commission chairman, maybe the village president, but really that process has to be separated from the public hearing process. It really
I
needs to be
understand, the
distinct.
chain of command, I get it, yeah, I'm just asking a question.
No, it's about communication.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna communicate with all of us.
Right.
We have rules and how we can communicate,
Okay,
so we can't.
fair enough.
Well, thank you for
Okay,
coming before the board tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
So Rita, to your point, for MLS, 26 lots, only 7 of them had been built. They're 0.4, 0.5 acre lots, smaller lots. Everything's like $1 million in there. There hasn't been a new home built in there since 08, 09.
Because most of the lots are on the perimeter, not the interior, because
Right.
one you can pick up for 75,000.
Right. No, for Bennett West, on Diamond Lake Road,
Over, yeah.
on my side, on Diamond Lake Road.
Okay.
So, I don't know, to the point about, do we have a market? Man, you can't sell one in there.
There's a school, issue there.
Oh, that's Diamond Lake.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, it is.
so that,
Thank you, I'll shut up.
no,
Oh.
you don't have to set up for it.
Good point.
School districts matter. They all cost a lot, though. All right, so moving along, village engineers report.
Okay, so the village engineers report's in the board packet, just to highlight a couple things. The village hall expansion, there was a coordination meeting on Friday, the report got done on Wednesday, so that's why it just says, hey, I'll give you an update tonight. But, some equipment got delivered earlier this week. Bear Construction is planning to start the, excavation for the, foundations later this week. We reached out to them, we meaning, Chris Sparkman and myself, to inquire on what does today's rain do to that schedule. We're waiting to hear back on that. The road maintenance program scheduled to start work tomorrow. Similar tune to the last comment, today's rain, still not sure if they've canceled that or if it's still on yet. We'll know that probably about 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. We'll start in compliance with the village construction hours on Sumter, if it does go tomorrow. Skipping down, Arlington Heights Road, that new construction project is moving along. Contractor's still removing medians, installing storm sewer, and they're actually putting in some temporary pavement in some of the areas after they get the utilities installed in the medians.
Aptekissick Road, mostly working on the bike path on the north side of the road. Just jumping down to 14A, and this is the closure of Indian Creek Road, at Indian Creek. Hawthorne Woods is replacing that culvert. Been in the engineer's report for a while that the closure is from August to October. We learned last week that the construction schedule is July 29th through October 18th. So a couple days before August, but pretty much right on schedule.
It's gonna be so awful.
Well, can I ask a dumb question?
No.
So the reroute goes on the state roads, keeps it off the county roads. Isn't that interesting? Because they're gonna send them up north, past my subdivision, versus staying south and then back up Gilmer. So that was interesting. Why didn't they go both ways, right?
Yeah, pick one or the other, and
Yeah.
it's go on the roads. Which way was it? You said they're going to go on the state roads and not the county roads?
That's what I said, yeah, because it's 83, and it's Midlothian Road. Those are both state roads.
But
And they're skipping
state roads
the,
have more traffic, and when you want the road
well,
less.
there'll be a lot more traffic. I won't be able to get to my subdivision because it's on Midlothian. So I just found it interesting. Just, you're gonna have the same thing because you live in the same subdivision.
Heating will be cut down. No better.
So,
And the
Well,
DEP signs, they need to get a permit from either the state or the county. Apparently they chose
Yeah,
to
you-
get it from the state.
yeah, you have an active traffic control device there, so yes. Okay, sorry, I had to ask the question because I looked at it and geography-wise, it's about the same. You can go either way. So I guess you know what'll happen? People do what they're gonna
People
do.
what they do.
Yes, they're not gonna listen to the detour sign, I'm sure. Okay.
Not on the engineer's report, but the previous few board meetings, 3936 Lakeview Court has been brought up. This is a vacant lot in the Beaver Creek Estate subdivision. There was some wetland filling that's happened over the years. So I talked to Manager Sparkman earlier today, and he's been working with Vic's office on taking that to adjudication. Ironically enough, I did get a call from the prospective, or the contract purchaser of that lot, and they had gotten wind of the work that needed to be done and the violation that had been outstanding on that, and I talked to them about it and what needed to be done to restore it, which is to remove the material that had been placed in there and reseed the wetland and restore it. And he was going to take that information to get some pricing and use it as some of the negotiation, he told me. So
But the seller did not disclose that?
all I know is he found out about it from his attorney, the contract purchaser. So,
We provided the HOA with the information in anticipation that they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
my guess is no. I don't know 100% sure.
Well,
And-
it's really good she got active in this, or somebody's gonna get hurt.
So it's, gonna be, I'm part of, everything, it's out there, so, I think this is a good step to getting it resolved.
Right.
With that, the remainder of the report is just updates on, various permits that, are out there for site work. Any questions? Happy to take those.
Yeah, I have a question about 14D, the electronic speed radar thing. I know we've had those for about a month now. Really marked the areas maybe 3 weeks ago. What's the plan to get those installed? I'll ask whoever wants to answer.
We're gonna put one up on Checker first. They're much bigger than we had thought, according to ELA. Might require a concrete, foundation to keep the weight.
No way.
So we wanna test it on one first to see how it works, which I thought was gonna be done this week. I'll follow up with Mike Adila to see where we're at with that. If they're too big,
Apparently the solar panels are.
solar panels are very heavy.
Okay.
So if it doesn't work, we might have to switch it just to the battery-powered version of it, and we'll have to work with the vendor on that, or come up with a smaller profile.
Are they returnable?
They better be, yeah. We'll figure it out.
Is a concrete base that expensive?
Oh, you can't make them portable,
It
they
just,
can't move around.
it hurts the mobile aspect of it.
Well, what you would do is, you would pick the locations where you want to put them. You'd put the post, you put the solar panel, and you'd only move the actual display. You can just slide up and out. I don't think the plan ever was to pull the pole out of the ground and plant it somewhere else.
No, but depending on how maybe it will stand on a regular pole without any of the base, and we'll be fine. This is just comments from, Eula Township saying that they're huge, which is.
I see.
No, I mean, they're like, it's the solar panels that are big, the solar panel, and heavy, and that hang up at like an awkward angle, so it can blow possibly with the wind, if the wind catches it.
Do these ever get vandalized?
I mean, there's a ton all around. I drive by 3 on my way to work every morning. Yeah.
You know, you're mentioning that you see them. I see them all the time. And you know what's happening? I don't see them. Because see.
Oh, you tune them out.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like any sign. You have too many.
So if the alternative is to use only a battery and not a solar panel, how and how often do you charge the batteries?
They can last anywhere from, a week to a month at a time, and then we just have to swap them out. It would be an administrative process.
All we gotta do is buy four Ford F-150s and just park them there and let them run and power the damn things, right?
There you go.
By the time we pay somebody to run around and maintain these things once a week or once a month, they might as well put them in concrete and be done with it.
But then they're not portable like the promise was.
Well, again,
Easily
you were never gonna dig up a
Easily portable.
pole somewhere else.
I heard we're gonna put a bracket up and then we just move this thing and put it on the bracket. I think was the description.
Yeah.
I think we've been hoodwinked.
So
and
that we have
swindled.
flexibility.
You're right, right.
Yep.
All right.
Other questions? Comments?
As soon is the answer.
So, I mean, you
I'll let you
can
know,
move
yeah.
the display.
Yeah.
What you do is you identify where you would want them to be, put the pole and the solar panel in those locations, and move the display among those locations.
How many solar panels do we need?
How many locations do we want?
I don't know how many we decided on in this meeting.
So I think we're gonna wait for village staff to get back to us.
I'll provide an
I want
update.
more than that.
We've got too much time tonight.
Well, we do wanna do something else at the end of this meeting, so.
End of report.
I have a question on number 15.
Number 15.
I am really sick and tired of seeing this on Facebook. It's been 5 full years. We take the money, or they fix it.
You mean take the money and do it?
Whatever, 5 years, it's at a point where nobody even pays any attention to this anymore. Either of these owners. And I'm talking about the 83 and Old 53, the property as well as this one. That red blue sign is the pit. It's not conforming, and that's not even on here because I guess we gave them an okay on that after they did it. But when are they gonna pay attention to this? Well, they're not hearing from us. We're not saying, hey, get your rear in gear, but here's this. How long is it gonna go?
What are we waiting for them to do?
So-
Gosh.
The landscaping.
So the new perspective one,
New
So-
perspective,
pardon me?
new perspective. Never mind, go ahead.
That's what it is, I
always
think,
say
right?
wrong, doing it thoroughly. I talked to Lucy DeVoe about that today, I kept calling it wrong. So, and this predates me, obviously. So I finally was able to track down and get she was the Vice President of Hospitality, and now her title is President of First Impressions. Yeah, I know, fancy.
At your perspective.
So she came down to Minnesota
That's from your
a few weeks
perspective,
ago.
understood.
Came down, she said she was coming just to see me, so that made me feel special too. I think she was blowing smoke, but I'm gonna go with it. But anyway, she came down to their site and, we walked around, so, we are working together on what they're gonna improve. We walked, the site with the district director, went over, you know, what the situation is and what trees, so they are in process. There's so many trees there that they have to, you know, that they have to go.
I don't know.
No, I know you don't. I'm saying there's a lot of trees. This is before me, there's a lot to go through there. I can sit down with you and go over it if you want, the landscape.
No, we all don't know.
Right.
So,
So you're saying a lot of trees have to be replaced?
So it goes back to the original landscaping plan from when they, built, yeah, and, everything, and then multiple reviews since then, 2 or 3 owners ago.
Yeah, and they all just,
And
you know,
reviews,
shrug
yeah.
their
And
shoulders
it
and
means-
say it's
So,
not a
yeah,
problem.
and then, in the last sale, I guess, New Perspective was told, simply, at least according to them, oh, you have to plant 30 trees. That's all they were told, supposedly. I sent her, I said, no, this is what your landscape plan was. And they're like, well, we didn't know that, we just planted a bunch of trees. You know, so now they've been told, well, this is what the trees were, they didn't know about, you know, the required species, all these. So now I'm working with her on what the actual plan was that they're supposed to, and we're having conversations about what was required originally and what's possible in their situation, and continuing to try and get those roads to converge. Because, they're a 144-person facility, and, they're filling something like 25 beds right now. So I'm, you know, in talks with them to try.
it might not be the trees that are the problem.
You know, get those roads to converge.
How many beds?
That they have, something like 144.
But how many are occupied?
25.
But, oh, wow.
25?
So,
That's what I.
something's real wrong then.
Yeah.
Something's real wrong.
It was full.
And it's,
So much so, remember they wanted to take the room that had.
Right.
That side,
Yeah.
turn it into a
So,
room.
so how about this, can you give us a report, because this is on here, but obviously there's stuff going on and Jeff's not capturing it. Just give us a report at the next meeting on where you're at and what's being done.
That'd be great.
Yeah, is that okay?
it's better than nothing, but it's an example of, as time goes by over and over and over, we forget. And so I'm glad that Rita brought this up, because I see it in there and I think, I wonder what they're doing.
Oh, yeah,
And we don't know.
yeah, we have some major staff changes, yeah, yeah.
If I could continue, and it's almost as if staff is working with a developer or a business or something, let us know. You know, it's like secrets, keep secrets, so that I don't know, because after all, I'm dangerous.
Okay, I guess, the village staff can work on that a little bit more, right? I mean, I didn't know that anything was going on with this, so just
Well,
learned.
it's kind of like Abbott. Abbott?
Yeah,
Abbott, on, and, you know, a little bit, and nothing else. So thanks for bringing it up.
all right, so let's keep this moving, because I do want to go into executive session if we can tonight, for a few minutes anyways, hopefully not long. So village president and trustee reports. The only thing that I would ask Chris, and maybe I'll ask Bobby, Would like to try to, schedule an HOA president's meeting, I believe it's on September 9th. Did a save the date go out? Did you get one, Bobby?
Oh, we will send one out this
So
week.
I've been meaning to ask you, so we'll see if that works, but we'll get an HOA president's meeting. The reason why we didn't do it in the spring is we had some staff changes, and I'm hoping to do it before, it gets too late in the year, so.
If you're asking, if you don't mind my
Pardon?
interrupting, we haven't received anything yet. I'm an HOA president and we didn't get an invite yet.
You'll get one this week.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you for that. Yep. All right, so that's all I have in the report. Trustee Borowski?
I participated in the CSCC meeting last week, Wednesday. This is following up on my kind of request to consider evaluation of whether or not our conservancy and our scenic corridors are meeting our current expectations. Overall, I just want to make a couple of comments. First of all, I mentioned this earlier to Chris, but I have a working with that group and facilitating the meeting and being part of that. So she also did some real nice follow-up on trying to sort through some of the current verbiage in our various different documents, both legislatively and comprehensive plan-wise, trying to figure out what it is that they all say about conservancy as well as scenic corridor. So we'll share a little bit more with we'll share a little bit more down the road perhaps. I did plant the seed with the committee about that request for them to just consider whether or not they like what they see out there, you know, as the starting point. Do you like what you see? Are we doing things right? What should we do differently? And they had some interesting comments and interesting thoughts. Some of them were, it would be good to educate, re-educate, continue to educate the HOA presidents so that they can educate all the residents in terms of what's expected of the conservancy and the scenic corridor areas, which I thought was interesting. They also suggested us to consider having a realtors training meeting to explain to the realtors working in the area what those areas really mean. You know, what you can do, what you can't do, what you can touch, what resources are available, you know, working with the CSCC as a consultant as to what planting should be there.
Keep in mind, these people don't even know we don't pay tax. They don't know we don't have a police department. So you're kind of getting in the weeds.
Okay, fair enough, but I just recanting some of the comments that I thought were interesting for us to look at.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Right, it's a great idea, right?
Mhm.
And then your point about police is very true. So they also talked about education programs that they're thinking about. They're working on putting together signs again, to get the signs out and to get seat into the conservation areas. They're also thinking about putting signs up that identify species. So as we move forward with the village hall, their recommendation is we plant some native species, put little signs up and say, this is what we want, right?
What
This
an
is-
opportunity.
Right, what an opportunity, right? So I thought that was kind of interesting. They mentioned that, maybe not necessarily as part of the official function, but unofficially, some of the members ran into the old tall grass group a year ago when they were doing the teasel spraying, and some of the tall grass guys were questioning why we're spraying just the teasel, because they're literally walking over noxious weeds to get to the teasel. So they're like, have you guys thought about like just doing a broadcast spray of all kinds of bad stuff, not just teasel? So I thought that was kind of an interesting comment for maybe us to look into later on down the road when we look at granting more money to the park district or whatever our budget item was for park district money. So I thought that was kind of an interesting comment. I think what's come out of this so far is that, well, a couple more comments. So native list update. So the committee has been working on updating the native planting list for some time. I think it's not completed. I think they've been, just like everybody, looking at resource issues. You know, how do we spend enough time to go ahead, or find enough time to go ahead and spend the time updating that list? And legislatively, we have conflicts in our code, in our plan, and the area that the planting is in. So as an example, we have a very limited protected species list for trees, right? It's the oaks and it's, I don't know, maples, whatever. Well, I'm sorry?
Hickory.
Hickory, right. But the second you step foot onto the conservancy area that's designated, It's a different list of trees. So as an example, if I came to the village and dropped my $5 and got a permit for cutting down my box elder that's not in a conservancy, they grant that because it's not protected. But if it's in the conservancy, I have to go to the CSCC and ask permission to cut down the box elder because it's native. You know, in my opinion, that's a very vile tree anyway. I don't want one, right? But having said that, those are the rule conflicts that we currently have right now, actually, the way our code is written. So we're probably gonna need to do something legislatively, right? Make sure our tree list is what we wanna protect, and then make sure it sort of makes sense for what's going into the conservancy areas as well. The CSCC very strong about native. If it's native, let it grow. If it's not, pull it out, tear it out. But it's a very difficult thing to do, you know? The list is long, homeowners like me are uneducated, plus I don't know if I've got the resources to do that. I don't know how I would pull out one species of goldenrod and leave the other one and know what the differences are. So I think legislatively, there's a lot there too. So I don't think it's an immediate answer. I think there's a lot that goes into this consideration, but they had some really good ideas on things that we could do that are baby steps that could help educate people and work towards a better understanding of those areas, I thought.
Should be, a nice agenda for a newcomers meeting, you know, to just contact everybody who's moved in the last 3 years. They, you know, we're gonna have coffee, tea, alcohol, whatever, you know, come and learn about this and learn about, you know, blah, 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 like the president's meeting, only with different topics.
And, you know, the developer tonight, you know, the reason I asked that question like I did about Scenic Corridor, what do we want? Man, that's a great center of the village property.
Correct.
What do we want? Do we want a berm with buckthorn on it? Dang, I'm like, no. Okay. So what do we want? Do we want to keep it that way, or do we want to change it? Do we want to keep it native, and then just kind of let it grow into what it is today, or what it will be in the future, you know, that kind of thing? So, anyway. And a report, oh, one more thing, sorry. I know I did this 6 times. The Burbank American Senior Little League has made the World Series in South Carolina for the 2nd time in 3 years. Completely managed by my nephew, so very proud.
Congratulations. All right, is that end of report?
Thank you.
All right, trustee Jamil. Trustee O'Connor. Trustee O'Reilly?
I want to tag on to something that Chris said, because we were kind of talking before the meeting, and it's something that we're going to have to address sometime, and that is the overgrowth, whether it's on the right-of-way or whatever it is along the road, and nobody's taking care of it. Recently, Chris got Eagle Township to come down my road, that the growth was getting into the road on both sides. And so they came and mowed, you know, with the.
Shredded.
Shredded, right.
Yeah, which is fabulous, because if you had 2 cars there, they were gonna crash, and so, that's part of it, but if you look along our roads, it's everywhere. There's dead trees that nobody's paying any attention to. We have got to figure out what we can do. Whether it's going to be us paying for it, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I know there's a question there. But my real report is that, I am working on a list of topics put in the newsletter that are more resident friendly. And some of the things that you've mentioned would be ideal to do. And so I'm asking if you know of a group that I may not know, even if you know of a group, let me know who they are, so that I can whether contact them and get information about their meetings and stuff. It's like, do you know that we now have a Rotary group that meets in Long Grove? We do?
Yes, I presented to them many years ago.
Well, they meet in my office now.
Oh, they mean your office. Well, I mean, I presented to them when they, at Joni's once, so, a long time ago.
But they have no home.
Oh, God, they have a home
So
now.
Now they have a home.
Got in your office, okay.
And so if you've got something that would be worth sharing with residents, let me know.
Thank you for doing that, by the way, too.
Well, one of my ideas, and this one, we haven't talked yet.
Uh-oh.
Not thoroughly yet, but an idea I had is that Bob Jenkins used to write our newsletter for a long, long time. He was a wonderful writer and had wonderful subjects. I don't know where those are, but I'm going to ask somebody to see if they can find them, and I'd love to read them and see what could be pulled out to repeat.
Got it.
I bet they're in a box in the rental.
That's what I think. Probably unmarked.
Probably.
Yeah, but somebody knows where they are, and so we'll work on it.
Thank you again for doing that. I was not happy with the last newsletter, so thank you.
Well, I will tell you my thing now is if I hear one more word about Escasset Road, I'm going to throw up. It's not Long Grove.
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Sometimes it's not news you can use.
Well, but I've never seen a word about Arlington Heights Road.
Yeah,
So, that kind of thing. But we were always more internal than we are regurgitating what other people are saying.
yep. Well, thank you for doing that. I greatly appreciate it, because it needs help. Anything else?
No.
Trustee Tanucci.
Nothing.
Village manager's report.
No report.
We
forgot that.
Oh, sure.
Does Jackson McCall know that, does he know what we're looking for?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, well, he's gonna know now, so.
We're gonna provide more topics and feedback on what should be included.
In fairness, too, so let's think about it.
No. We are not going to provide him with everything he needs. He's making, what, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, and he doesn't know that Arlington Heights Road is being.
No, I'm just asking if he knows what it is that we want changed. Has anybody communicated that?
No, Bobby and I have just started meeting to come up with some new things to include in there.
Well, so I mean, in fairness too, so here's the whole thing. So village staff changed, before newsletter went out, circulated to everyone for input, right? Before an e-news went out, it was circulated. All that stopped, right? And I'm not saying that it all has to be put back in place, but we're not doing some of the things that we used to do. And so the newsletter is just coming out, and it's just whatever it is, right? And
It may look very much like another town.
But
yeah,
I'm just wondering, because I've called him with ideas, and I find him very open. And so it surprises me, is it a two-way conversation, or
I don't know, don't ask me. I don't really get asked. I just look at it and go, no one says to me what should be in the newsletter. I get asked to write a president's message, I get told it has to be written by this day, and I do it. I'm hoping that, you know, with Bobby's, involvement here, that we're gonna come back and, I don't know, bring some, because it doesn't have oversight, it didn't have oversight for a little bit, so.
He seems to be very, when I talk to him, he seems to be very cooperative. Put out what we want, we just need to tell him, I think.
That easier said than done, but thank you, yes.
Tell them and do it.
I turn the AC little.
There's some things, though, that should be just,
It's so cold in here. I'm trying my breath in my coat.
So you're
get the reports from the other side of the table, trustee reports?
We said no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've gone through everyone, so it's just, trustee Tanucci, you had no report? Yeah, okay, so, the village manager report had none, so I would like, if you can stay a little bit, I'd like to go into executive session for two reasons, personnel and pending and threatened litigation. Could I get a motion for that? Moved by trustee O'Reilly, seconded by trustee O'Connor. I guess take a roll call, I guess?
Trustee O'Reilly.
Aye.
Trustee O'Connor. Aye.
Oh, yeah, we'll help her, don't worry.
Trustee Borowski. Aye. Trustee Jamil.
Aye.
Trustee Tanucci.
Our motion carried. Good night, George.
You too.
All right, so, you're gonna shut that camera down? It's off, okay.
Thanks, Dana.
All right, let me, let's see now, where did they put the great breakout rooms? Just wait 1 second. Okay, so I'd like a motion to adjourn. Moved by trustee Riley. Seconded by trustee Tanucci. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Right, John.
You're going, what the hell did I do?